Hey, welcome everyone in this new video tutorial about Diablo Dungeon Generator. In this video we are going to build a simple logic to calculate how many tiles there are between the start tile and any other tile in the dungeon, uh, and taking into account the extra connections we created in order to build to place the end tile at the furthest location away from the start tile, and maybe to add a limit of a minimum number of tiles of steps to take before being able to reach the end tile. And if we generated a layout that does not provide enough tile in between the start and the end tile, maybe we can re-roll the dungeon. So let's create that real quick. Let's create new variable called minimum number of steps to start tile. That's quite a long name. Maybe we'll come up with something shorter afterwards. Uh, mean steps, mean steps, mean step to start tile. It's a bit better. So let's make that 3 for now. And the idea is pretty simple. Once we've generated the layout and generated the extra connection, we are going to loop through our tiles and give them a number which corresponds to the number of steps, the number of times that of tiles that separates them from the start tile. So we'll also add, we are going to add a little text renderer to the tile in order to preview that number once the dungeon is generated. So let's do that real quick by opening up our BP tile, and let's add a component which is a text renderer, a text render. Let's put that on. Let's increase the Z axis. Let's write 1 for a start, and let's make that big enough so we can see it from the sky. Let's rotate that towards our game camera like this. I mean, like this. And let's make sure we can see that from afar by hitting play. Let's make that way bigger, and let's make that red or something like that. Maybe not red because it is aggressive. Let's hit compile. It's taking a long time to compile because it's updating on all tiles. Can we see that from afar? I'm going to just make this red and to make that on the top left corner because the arrow are kind of hiding it. So let's do that real quick, and then we can move on to the interesting part of the things, coding the stuff and updating the number. So like that. Yep, that's the number of steps that we have, the number of tiles we have to walk through to get to the start of the level. That's going to be that. So let's say on begin play we're generating the connectors. We will also update text render, update steps to start. We're going to make that, we're going to get our text render, we're going to set the text, we're going to create a variable, steps to start. This is going to be an integer, this is going to be editable and expose on spawn. We're going to give the number to this tile when we spawn it, so we're going to make that a metric. Let's plug that out. Steps to start like this. This is going to update the text render, and we're going to add just text to the end of that function name like this. We're going to hit compile. This is my F1. Going to save, and then if we hit play, they're all going to say 0 because we actually did not set this number for now. If we go to our level generator, when we spawn the tile, it's asking us for a step to start. How many steps to start separate this tile from the start tile? So we're going to calculate that now in our generate tile layouts. We're actually stepping back and placing the end tile in here. We actually don't want to create the end tile anymore for now. And when we generate the level, we're actually adding extra connections, and then we generate the replacement tile layouts. And then we're going to say in here, we are going to try to calculate our number of steps. So calculate steps to start. This is going to be a generation step. And on our generate level function, we're going to put that here. Hit compile, save. I'm going to go there and destroy, shut down every other tabs. And what do we want to do here? We want to put the min steps to start tile in metrics. We want to get our references. We want to get our tile layout. We want to convert that into a key, into keys, because we want to loop through all the tiles we get. And then I thought about the logic for a bit, and I found out we could loop through the tiles, give them, this is going to be their temporary steps to start. I said steps to start. So for every tile, we're going to give them the tile 0 here is going to be the first tile we added to the dungeon, and the tile 1 here is going to be the second one, and we're going to give that number to each tile. So if I'm opening up our tech design real quick, this tile is going to be the 0, this one the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, etc. So on and so forth. But let's say we add a 4-way in here, then this is not going to be there are not going to be 4 steps from the start to the end in here. There is going to be actually 1, 0, 1 and 2, and we're going to build a logic that actually takes every tile in the dungeon and then says, hey, I'm going to find out if there are tiles around you. If there are, I'm going to find out if I'm connected to you. And if I'm connected to you, I'm going to find out if you have fewer steps to start than I. And if you do, I'm going to change my number of steps to start. So in our case, this is going to give them this number, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's say this is the 5th tile it added. For additional tiles, we are going to give them increased number as well, like this. And then we're going to say for each tile, if you have fewer connections, for instance, 5 is going to say, hey, is 0 fewer than I? Yes. So I'm then 0 plus 1. I'm then 1. Then it's going to say, am I fewer than 2? No. Is 2 fewer than me plus 1? Nope, it is not. Is 4 fewer, greater than, I wanted to say greater here. Is 2 greater than me plus 1? No. Is 4 greater than 1 plus 1? Yes. so it's going to be 2 in here, and then it's going to ask here, is 7 greater than 1 plus 2? You get the idea, and it's going to say 2. And then we're going to know for each tile how many steps there are to start tile. So let's close that real quick. I mean, I'm not going to close that actually. Neither am I going to ask for help. So for now, we're just giving the numbers, the right numbers to every tile. And then we're going to say for each tiles, get locations around. For each location around, is the location used? If the location is used, am I connected to that tile? So is this tile connected to that one? So we're going to just create a temporary variable here, current tile. We're just going to call that in order to avoid wires all around the place. Let's plug that here, plug that here. So is this tile, I'm already messing up my wires in here. So hopefully we created that variable. So is the location used around me? If it's used, am I connected to it? If I'm connected to it, we need to, in here, we need to ask, is the tile where we are currently looping through? We need to store the amount of steps to start in a variable. So we need a new variable. This is going to be steps to start. We're going to put that in our reference list. This is going to take, I mean, we could add the information to our tile information in here, tile direction, and maybe steps to start. Maybe we need to do that. I'm afraid it might get us errors to modify a structure that is used everywhere in our level generator. So I'm actually going to close that. I'm going to copy paste our project like this. I'm going to open it up. I suggest you do the same. We're going to modify the structure, and usually Blueprint doesn't like this. So this is the little to-do list I'm keeping. This is the list of features I want to build with you guys. So let's open up our level generator, our utility folder with the tile information structure. Let's create a new variable. This is going to be an integer, steps to start. We're going to hit save. We're going in our level generator. I'm going to hit F5, which is refresh all nodes. I set up, I think the base shortcut for that is F7. I suggest you bind this to something you are comfortable with. I'm oftentimes using it. So apparently we had no errors. We're going to hit play just for the sake of seeing that everything is spawning. We're going to hit plus quite a large amount of times just to make sure it doesn't break. Okay, we are fine. So we're actually calculating our steps to start, and we need to store the initial steps to start. So when we generate our layout, we're actually adding a tile to our layout, then we're adding a tile to our layout, and then the steps to start, the initial steps to start we're going to use in here is going to be the length of our tile board, layout board. So like this, because in here we have 1 tile, 2 tiles, 3 tiles, etc, etc, etc. So I'm going to hit play, to hit save, I mean, like this. And then we want to go back to our calculate steps to start function, and we want to ask if this tile, I want our tile board, we want to ask if any of the tile around us has fewer excuse me, has fewer connection than us. So like this, than our current tile. So this is the current tile we're looping through. We're asking if any tile around is actually closer from the start tile. And we actually want that to be closer -1. Why? Because if not, when we put that, so we actually coded it this way, it says things like this. So if we don't add this -1, this tile is going to ask if any of the tile around it has fewer, is closer to start tile, and of course the tile 1 is going to say yes. So we need to ask, is this +1 is fewer than this? So if any of the tile around, so if this +1 is actually closer than us, so if it's actually closer than us, what are we going to do? We're going to say we want we need to add to update. This is the node to update our tile. We can't do that in any other way. So if any of the tile around us is closer from start tile than us, we are going to update the current tile we are looping through. To what? We're going to update it to exactly what it is now, except it takes the steps to start from the closer tile +1 as steps to start. We're going to hit compile, save. We're going to go to our create tile spawn tile function, and in here we are going to say it needs steps to start parameter. We're going to find the reference to that, and we are using this in here. I mean, where are we using this? In here. And how many steps to start, the reference we got. We're going to hit save, and we're going to hit play, and this is not working. Did we actually added that to calculate steps to start? This is saying loop through our tile layout. Array index +1. We're going to add. What did I do wrong? I might have just skipped a stupid step. We're actually it should at least, if any of these branches passes, it should at least give this it should at least says this is give numbers like 1, 2, 3 and 4, etc. in the dungeon. I'm just going to check if our logic is functioning in our tile. If I check update steps to start text, this says steps to start, set text. I mean, there's nothing fancy in here. If I say This says stuff like this, it works, so why is it not working? We're going to check that. We're going to and I need to check when we're adding a tile to our layout. This is adding this. So maybe we're erasing everything in our calculate steps to start, so we're just going not to run the logic. And yep, that's just not being, I think the value is just not set anywhere when we add a tile to our layout. So when we actually add tile to our layout, we're going to print the length we're giving here. And I wreck everything. I'm gonna hit Control Z. I'm gonna pass that here. I think we just forgot when we set our connections enabled. Yep. When we set the connections enabled, I need to actually plug that in here. And we are going to just find all the times we make the tile information to make sure we actually connect the steps to start like this. And when we add our start tile, it is at 0. When we add our end tile, we're actually going to rebuild the logic in here afterwards. When we calculate our steps to start, and if we hit play, yep, like this. And if we plug back our logic when we generate the level, we actually want to calculate our steps to start. If we hit play, it did not work for that one. It's actually just because it's a replace style, I think. If I check real quick in here, when we generate that, we want I plug the wrong one. We don't want to plug the class default. We want to plug the initial value. If you remember well, in here we're looping through our tiles. Our tiles have a certain number of steps to start, and in here we're just getting the default value of the steps to start variable, and we don't want to plug the default value of that variable. We want to plug the current value we give to our tile. So if I hit play, I suppose this is working. I'm going to hit plus a certain amount of times. So I guess I can be happy with this. I try to find we're going to add some additional tiles to that in order to make sure it's not broken. So if we want an additional 5 tile and we don't want them connected, and we want to hit play, are the tile properly set up? This tile 5, you see, it worked properly in here and everywhere actually. So I'm quite happy about this. So, and now we want to add our end tile to the further tile, the tile which is further away. So for that, we're just going to actually add our generate end tile function in here. So if we go back to our generate tile layout, we add these steps, create end tile. So we're going to collapse that to a function. We're going to call this create find end tile location. I mean, no, this is going to be add end tile to layouts, and this is going to be, oh, we already have a function that's called like this, add end tile. and we're never calling this actually. So we're going to remove this, and we're going to find out our newly created function, find entire location. We're going to control X, which this, we're going to delete that. We're going to go back to our add entire to layout. We're going to control V, what's there, and we're going to delete that previous location, and we're going to add that to our logic in here. Add end style try, add end tile to layout. So we are not going to need a parameter. We just need to go in there. We're actually going to get rid of everything. Sorry for the manipulation we did. So what do we want to do here? We want to find the tile which is the further away. So we need our tile board, obviously. We need our values. We need to loop through our values. We need to break them. We need to promote that to a local variable. We need to delete the sets. We're going to say that local variable is an array. This is going to be called steps to start. This is going to be called temp steps. We're going to get that variable. We're going to add that. We're going to get our steps to start. Then we're just going to get our temp steps. We're going to get our max of int array. And we want our max value. We want to loop through our temp steps. We want to duplicate this array. This is going to be our further tiles. We're going to get that. We're going to add our array elements to this. So what are we doing here? We're getting all tiles. We're finding out how much tile separates them from the start tile. Then we're finding out if. So this is the list of all the steps to the start tile for all tile. And this is returning us what is the greater value. We are comparing all the values we found to the greater values in case there are several tiles that are that have the same amounts of tiles in between them and the start tile. If they have the same amounts, we are adding them to the list of further tile, and then we are going to say we want to add our end tile. What do we want to do here? What do we want to do here? We want to find out where are the tiles we're going to find. We actually need to make these maps, and this is going to break the logic we did, but it's okay. We're going to make these maps, and we are actually going to add. Is this the value? This is the value. The value is the steps to start, and this is going to be the array. And we're going to delete that. And we're going to put that aside. We're going to get our temporary steps. We're going to get the values. We're going to get our max of int array like this. And we are actually going to loop through that. We're going to delete that. So is the value in here equals that. We're going to add to to our further tiles the value. This is the value. We're going to add, okay, I'm kind of lost, this thing in here. Oh, actually not. We want to loop through the keys. We actually want to loop through the keys of that. And for each key, we want to check if the value is equal to that. And if the value is equal to that, we're going to add this and that with the index of our loop. So this way we can find out to what style belongs the steps. So once we've completed that, we can get our further tiles, we can get the keys, we can get a random key in here. So we've done that already. Length -1. Can we do last index? We can do last index. We don't need length -1. So we want the key we want to get. And then we want to say we actually want to loop through that. And we're going to need to check if we actually have room to add our end tile to that spot. So let's say we loop through the keys. So this is okay. So to find out the tile at that location, we need to do something like that. We need to promote that. We need to get the index which is at that location. And then we want to find that. This is giving us the tile which is at the location we found. And then we need to do have a function which gives us if there are room around this tile. Find random valid tile. Nope, not that one. So we're just going to say get tiles around, get locations around. Get locations around that. And we're going to loop through that. We're going to ask if any of these is used. Is location used? We're going to create a temporary variable, not a variable, a local. This is going to be a boolean. It turned our map into a simple boolean, which is what we want to do. We're going to call found room, and for each spot we found, we're going to reset found room. And then if we find a location which is not used, we are actually going to say we found room. Once we've looped through all the location around that spot, we're going to say did we find room? If we did not find room, we're going to remove the location from the possible locations. So further tile, we want to remove these. We want to remove. Whoops, sorry. We want to remove the array elements. I mean, nope. We want to remove the array index. Well, I'm curious. What's the value in here? This is actually the same value. This is the same number because we're looping through an array that a fake map that we constructed like an array with IDs like 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So it is actually the same. So we're removing every further room which has no outs for our end tile. So if one of the location around is not used, we found room. If we did not found room, we remove the further tile. And then if the length of the further tile is greater than 0, we're going to create our end tile in here in a random at a random location. We're going to need the keys. We're going to get a random key in here. And we're going to need our temporary tiles. We're going to get the tile which is at this location. We're going to add that in here. Oh, we need to tell these to what it is connected to. What it is connected to is going to be connected to what it is going to be connected to. This is the tile it is supposed to be connected to, and we're supposed to get a random location around. Okay, we are supposed to get a random location around that actually. Find random next location around that at a random direction. And if the coordinate is not random, which will mean we did not find the location, we're going to add our end tile in here. I mean, it's connected to that, and it's connected to that. We want to add an end tile, and we want to add some debug. We did not found room for end tile after filtering. This is going to be red. This is going to be to say we did not find room before filtering. And then what do we want to do? We just want to make sure when we generate our level, we are actually adding our end tile to the layout. Then we're going to hit play. And do we have an end tile? Oh, it actually broke our dungeon. I can get out from any spot in here, so we're going to delete that. We're going to hit play, and it's not giving us error when we spawned the last tile. When we try to spawn the end tile, when we try to add our end tile, we're actually getting all tiles. We are finding how further they are from the start tile. This is the value, this is the key. Then we're getting the values, we're getting the max value. Then we're getting the key for each of these key. Okay, that's where I I was wrong about that. In here we need to find the keys in here from the array element. This is once again, this is the same value like in here. So we want to find the value and we want to add the value in here like this. And we also want to compare that. And why did it not debug? Maybe it failed before. Maybe it actually failed before. Is our output log saying anything? No, it's not. So we're just going to hit play once again. So did it generate? No, it did not. Did I add it? I think I added it. Yes, yep, I did. So it's not generating anything. It's not actually generating an end tile. Why is it not? We want to add this tile to our layout and we're actually debugging. So it's not printing anything, but no tiles are being spawned. No end tile is being spawned. Why? We're debugging in here. Do we have another loop? It should, in any case, it should go that way. I just want to print in here. Blah blah blah. We did not found for end tile after filtering. We did not found a room for end tile. Before filtering, where did it fail? I wasn't sure. We did not find a room. I'm going to print for a little longer. I'm sorry, I'm thinking in the same time about what might be causing the bug. So after the filtering, it's not finding any spots for the... Where should it be? It actually should be searching from that point, I suppose. Or maybe, are we actually going to... Maybe we don't want to add our additional tiles. Maybe the additional tiles are creating the problem because we're trying to find random next location only in between tiles that are generic, if I'm not mistaken. This is going to... what it is doing? This is trying to find a new location around it. If the location is not used, we're adding it. It's trying to say, hey, do you try to find anything? But we have a corridor check and stuff like this. Did we reach our maximum amount of corridors in a row? Can we set that to 0? I mean to 20. Maybe it's going to fix the problem. No, it's not. It's still not finding a room after filtering. I'm wondering why it's not finding a room after filtering. What's not working in here? Because they are supposed to pick like the 6th tile in here, or this one in here, and it's not finding room around this. Is it not? So maybe it's just a bug in the logic, in our generation logic, when we actually try to find, to add our end tile. What am I doing wrong once again? Get location around this. Want to get this one? Yes, we do. Further tile, we got the key in here. We added the value. The key was the index. We're finding this. We're comparing the value. Yep. So what is it I'm doing wrong? We got the keys. Is found room like this. Is the location used around me? Oh, find. We're not using this. We're not using this. Find location around. What am I doing wrong? Maybe the length of this is 0 and okay, so the length of this is not 0. So what is it? So we're going to, oh, my bad. It was quite a silly error. So if the location we found is not random, maybe you got this, and I'm sorry if you got this. This might have pissed you off. So this, if we did not found a random location, we are actually adding the tile, and if the return value in here is random, we're actually throwing an error. So if I hit plus, yep, it added our end tile to the further tile in our dungeon. So if I'm hitting plus, what is our further tile? So it's this one, but it did not connect. It did not connect them. Why did it not? Why did it not connect them? Quite strange, actually. I'm going to ask for fewer tiles and fewer additional tiles, just for the sake of debugging. But I might not get the same error I had, so it might not be helpful. Yep, we might not have that error. It actually did not connect the additional tile to the end tile. Maybe this comes from, I'm not sure. In any case, I'm going to wrap up that video and I'm going to debug this in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.